Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for another video. This is part two in the series to rehab the buildings we were talking about. What we're looking at here is the sidewalks that these buildings are going to go onto, and this is pretty much the orientation that they're going to be in. You have the road that's going to come here. We have the sidewalk, and I've actually carved in all the lines for the sidewalks. But you can kind of see between this line and this line, this is where the building needs to go. This is the length of the building going in this direction. And then we go from this line back this way for the length of the building in that direction. This building over here, we're going to start about at this line right here, and it's going to go all the way to the end, or as close to the end as I can get. Okay, so that's the dimensions we have to work with. I've started to put together one of the buildings. So because this building is going to be there's more stuff going on with this building. I don't know why, it just works out that way because we have this L shape, and this building is going to end up being an L shape. This one here is just going to be a big rectangle, basically. We're going to start with this one, and this is what I've built so far. So this goes here like this. Okay, so I have only two buildings here. This long length is the side of this building, and then I have another building here. So you can see what we've got going on here. This is one that's been stripped down, and yeah, there's a little bit of damage here. I'm not going to sweat it too much. I think we'll be okay because this is going to face the parking garage, and I don't think it's really going to show once everything's painted. But this has been all glued together and squared up just the way I need it right here. Now, I did spend some time at our campground again, and I took all those building parts, right, from both blocks, and I put them into a big pool. So these are all the parts we had, okay? So we've got all of these pieces. Now what I did was I went through all the pieces, and it's like a puzzle. So what I've done is I've put together, these are the finishing pieces, and I've labeled this as building 1. And then I have another bag here labeled as building 2. And this building goes here, this building goes here. So what I want to do for this series, and I think this is how I'm going to do this, is I'm going to build this building here, and then, you know, I'll move into the other building afterwards, but I have to focus on kind of one at a time. So these are the remaining parts for this building, and these parts are going to need some work as well. There are some things I'd like to change. So this is in the box, in the bag, only because I need this door right here to fit into this building, and it's a perfect fit. It'll go right in there. And I chose this building as opposed to this one because they are the same size. Okay, but I chose this one because I like the shape of it. It has a little more character. But I need this door out of here, so we'll pull that out at another time. But what I need to do is get the rest of the walls to this put together. And what I also did was when I put this together, I made a diagram. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I labeled all the parts. So I labeled this one as part 1-1. So we have this shape right here. Now this is by no means in scale, okay, you can see that, right? But it gives me an idea of what goes where. And on the back sides of all of these, I wrote the part numbers. It's kind of hard to see, but this is 1-4. This is this back wall right here. 1-5 is written here. This is going to go here. 1-3 is going to go right here, and 1-2 is going to go here, and that's going to make up the whole outside of the building. So what we need to do is, going on my diagram here, 1-5, I'm going to start building out this way. All right. So this is the cleanest of the super glued walls that I could come up with at the right size without having to change anything. This comes up a little short of this side wall, but I'm okay with that. Right, so if I put it up here, you can kind of see it's a little short to reach the end here. Now, if I wanted to change that, I could. Let's see. This one is actually a little bit longer, right? And height-wise, it's almost the same. It's just a tad higher, but the outside of the building is pretty torn up. So this is what I took into account when I was picking my sides. And like this building wall here has 3 floors. Can't use that. That's out. So we only have the 2-floor walls to build to pick from. This one's not too bad, and it's closer to the size. But again, I have a lot of super glue on here. So this one that I picked is probably about the cleanest right here. And we'll paint this up once it gets painted. The other thing you can do, and I mentioned it a little bit, by cleaning these up with the flat blade, is all I'm doing is just taking my flat blade with the beveled edge up, and I'm just going to go across this, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle around the super glue like this, and it'll chip off the super glue that's on there. Okay, and that's all I'm doing with this, and I'm just getting off the worst of it. And this is what I came up with. So this is the one wall that we're going to end up using. So what I need to do now is I need to clean up these edges right here. And to do that, I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand this edge down nice and flat. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take my flat blade and I'm going to clean up the inside. Like that. And then we're going to do the same with the edge of this building. Like that. And then we're going to go down this edge here. Like that. Now, to glue this together, so I don't want to get these pieces mixed up with all of this, so we'll push that away. I'm going to bring over my gluing jig, and what I have is this. I bought this from Micromark, a year ago or more, and now I'm actually starting to get some use out of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wall right here, and we're going to put this wall up here. These magnets out of the way, and we're going to fit this in here like this. And this is going to come just like this. Alright. And then we're going to take the magnets, fit them in here like this. Take 2 of them. One there, and then one over toward the edge, like that. And then we'll take 2 more and run them here, nice and tight. And another one right here. And then I'm going to take this one, push it in so that the building can't slide that way. Right, we need a stopper, and then we're going to take this one and push this in on this side. It keeps everything nice and tight. And then we're going to take the glue, and we're gonna glue that together. And all I'm going to do, I just want to make sure that we're flush out here, like that. I don't want to feel anything overhanging at all on this edge. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to let it run a bead right down the edge like that. And we're going to put a decent amount in there because we've got all kinds of stuff going down there. And that's our next wall. And then we just keep moving. So the next back wall is the 4. And I picked this wall because it's the same width as this building. Okay? And it has a small door in it. And this door is going to run right up to the edge of that building. So I'm going to move this magnet back just a touch. Change this one a little bit like this, and I'm going to sand the edge of this just a little bit just to even up, take off any high spots like that. And then I think we'll do this side as well. Like that. So now we have nothing in the way there. Nice even flat line. And then we're going to run this one right here. Okay, and we'll run the glue in there like that. Now this, let's take a magnet out here and push this in this way. And we want to make sure that this wall is nice and even to the back. Okay, now we have a nice tight fit on the edge here. You can see how that fits in there. It fits in there quite nicely, actually. A nice tight fit all the way down, nice and flush. A little bit different in the heights here. Not concerned. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be a problem. So onward we go. So the next wall to go in is a wall that we need to do a little modification to before we can put it in. So the next wall is this wall right here, and that's going to go right here. Okay, but what I want is I want to make this a roll-up door instead of these old wooden doors, because we're modeling more modern times, and these wooden doors are not a thing in modern times like they were back then. So I want to modernize this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and we're going to cut it out of there. See, now we can take this and cut this right out of there. See, now we have no door. And we'll take the file and we'll just clean this up a little bit. Flat file. We'll just hit the file in there. That. And then the top. And then any extra stuff that I don't want, we'll just take the knife, we'll clean out the corners a little bit. And then the flat blade to clean up any extra in the back. So now we have a pretty well cleaned out doorway, so like that. So now with the cleaned out doorway, now we can take this and add it to the wall here. Like that. But before I do that, I want to make sure I have a straight line across here. So I'm going to take this, my machinist square, and I'm going to put this in the back here. like this. And then we're going to move this into place like that. And then that's going to give us our straight line. So in order to do this, let's take a magnet on the back side here of the machinist square. And we'll put that nice and tight. And then we'll take this piece here. Actually, why don't we take this and lay it down this way. Okay. Then we have a nice squared up line. Now a lot of this I'm doing by eye as to what looks good and what doesn't. And I think what I want to do, now if you can see, these windows are awful tight to the corner here, okay? And it's just a little bit too tight. I can bend this in just a little bit, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin out this wall here. Alright, see now we're getting somewhere. So what we're looking at, see now we have some brick showing at the edge of the windows. So now I'm just going to attach this wall to the whole thing. Alright, so now we have, you can see the shape forming. Okay. This door, we're not going to throw that away. That's going to end up in the parts bin. You never know. I mean, it's a door, it's a panel door, it could be usable, so we don't want to throw that away. Now we have this end wall to deal with. Now, the piece I had for that, I believe, is this one. What did I do with it? Nope, this one. So we need to cut this. Okay, so this is going to go in the middle here, all the way up to the next window. So we need to cut this off right over here, and I want it to fit in between. Okay, so it's going to fit inside like that. So we're going to cut this one down. I don't even bother checking the height. What are we looking at for height? It's a little bit shorter. If I got a taller one. Yeah, this one will work. So if we cut a little bit off of each end, and the only reason I'm willing to use this one with all this stuff on the back, we'll have to clean this off too. I want the height from this. Yeah. I want the height, but I need to come in between the windows, and this will work, but we need to figure out where exactly that's going to be. See, that's pretty much exactly what we need. So now we need to cut on those lines. Let me get that cut, and we'll attach this in here, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at the next step. Alright, so now we have our building all built up here, right? And this is how it's going to go. It's nice and flat. There's no gaps around the outside anywhere along here. So we're all looking pretty good so far. So now, only because I'm doing an interior in these, and I'm only going to do an interior in these front two buildings here. We're not going to bother with this one. I'll do some sort of a window treatment and a sign in here, but I'm not going to do an interior because you won't be able to see inside because of the orientation of the building. This right here is the sidewalk that this is going to sit on, and this will go just like this. Okay, and this is the road that comes up the side, and you can see how we have this, and then we'll carve an entrance into this little parking lot like right here. These three squares here, I'll grind those down with a curb just like we did in front of the gas station. Okay, so that's our entrance into the parking lot. There's enough room here to pass by and do another exit on this side of the parking lot. So we're all looking good so far. This is all placing in nicely. I think it actually looks pretty darn good. I'm very happy with this. So now we need to move on to the next step in this. So we're good with this. We can put this to the side for now. We don't need this out. We're still working on this. So because I'm doing an interior in these, we can't leave the bottom open. Okay, so we have to add a floor. And that's going to happen like this. So I have another piece of my 40,000 styrene, and I'm going to lay this across the top so it's a nice 90-degree square angle. I'm going to set this inside like this, and I'm going to draw out the walls. So this is the building footprint right here. And we need to cut along all of those lines, and then we're going to mount this inside. See? Now we have a nice little base inside the building. So we're going to take out the glass. And we're going to fit this in here like this. And then we're going to glue that in, same as everything else. Okay, so now we have a floor in there. And this is all we're looking for now. So now we need to divide this building up, right? So I cut some wall sections. These are some of the really crappy ones, the ones that really you can't use for anything else. And these are going to go down in here like this. So this wall is a little bit high, okay, so we need to trim the height down, and then this wall will fit right in here like this. Okay, and it's pretty good just like it is, so we can set that one in as is. Alright, so this is the building. Now it's all done as far as the basic structure of it. We have a floor, we have all the walls, and the building has been divided up. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 buildings all into one basic structure. And we've already checked, and it fits on our layout, right? So this is where it's going to go, and it fits right into place. Okay, and that's all we need for the time being. I mean, we still have now the details start. We have a door to fit in here. We have a roll-up door to put here. And then this whole thing needs to get painted. So I have the structure that goes across the street from that one. I have the long one to build. And I did the same thing with that one. I have the whole bag of parts here. This is for building 2. And I'm going to do the same thing with that building. I'm not going to film it because it's the same process as this. And all these nasty pieces here with all the super glue all over them and some of these other building pieces here, those are all going to come into the process of building these interior walls. And that's pretty much it. That's all we need to worry about. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this week. I don't have anything else to show. I'm going to take care of the other building off camera. I'll show it to you next week, and we'll get to that. If you like what you saw and you found this helpful or interesting, please, by all means, subscribe to the channel. Love to have you along for the ride, and keep an eye on what's going on here. You can visit my website at mikestrains.wordpress.com. And over there are pictures of, well, what used to be the layout. And you can see what's changing here. So anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, happy modeling.